Morning, everybody. So I just wanted to make this video a synopsis of all the diagnostic codes you're going to get with your fuel system if there's an issue. Um, so we're going to pretty much go through with all the diagnostic codes that I've seen and experienced with just working on stuff. No big deal. So first off, I hope you watched the first couple videos I've uploaded with diagnostic procedures and on the truck review. So this is just a continuation of that. The last video I made, the um, big key thing on your diagnostic too is make sure you have no metal inside of your CP. I mean, that's all there is to it. If you have a DPK kit and got your low pressure codes, then take off your return filter and just look in it, make sure there's no shiny stuff in there, no glitter stuff. So if it does, yeah, it's 99.9% your CP has failed. The truck will still run shortly, but you will still have low pressure because the inside crankcase is compromised. Anyway, so I'm going to start off with P0001, which is your fuel volume regulator control circuit open. That is a circuit fault. So you have, what causes that is the ECM has lost communication with that solenoid. So check your wiring, pull the connector out, make sure it's not like double sealed, or make sure the pins inside of the connector are actually flush to the edge and not push back into the connector. Look at the solenoid itself, make sure those pins are not bent, distorted in any way. Make sure they're the same length, protruding out towards the outside of the connector, and that's it. You can ohm out your connector between the harness and the ECM port. I would have to get you a diagram to do that, but simplicity, just visual inspection. If you've had recent harness work like EGR removal or any kind of major work that had to deal with moving wires around and plugging connectors and stuff, potentially yes, you could have disturbed that harness in a way where it's lost communication with that solenoid, or the solenoid itself is shorted out and it's bad. That's it on that code. The next one, I'm gonna go up in order. So 0001 is the lowest one. Next one up is P008 Atom. That is low fuel pressure. That is low fuel pressure on the low side. So what would cause that code would be a failed lift pump, dirty filters, air intrusion. So your air intrusion would come from your O-rings and seals that if you replace your fuel filters, you've caused an air leak with that. Go back and verify your fuel filters are tight and the O-rings. You can remove the housings and inspect the O-rings, make sure they're not cut, twisted, or anything like that. Lube them up pretty good before you screw them up in there, and make sure everything is good and tight. All right. So filters, air intrusion, pump, or your low rail pressure, or your low pressure sensor itself. But it would have a separate code for that sensor itself. I don't think I looked that one up. But that's it for the 008A. The next one would be guess would be P093, P0093, fuel system large leak. The system knows when there's a large leak, so meaning either you have aeration, so check your rings on that part. You could have, cracked fuel filter housings. Like I said, just it's pumping, but you're getting air into the system. I mean, fuel system large leak. So your conditioning module, pickup line in the tank. Well, your conditioning module could have an issue. It could be a line in the tank on the sending unit. And that entails dropping the tank, pulling that out, checking those, those lines, make sure they're not cracked, loose, anything like that. And you could have leaking injectors. Leaking injectors can cause that too. So that's pretty much it on that code. All right, next I'm going to move to P0088, which is fuel rail pressure too high. And that code would come if your control solenoid on the back of the fuel rail is damaged in a way where it's not opening, or if it's got debris in it where it's stuck, and it's stuck in a fixed position to where it cannot depressurize your system. Your volume control valve on the CP, I guess it could cut back and shut the volume to the pumping cylinders, but in essence, your solenoid on the rail, which is your return relief, that there is your main critical pressure control. So if it's too high, I would first go to that fuel rail. And that's, I mean, again, that's it with that one. Let's see. P087. I should have been marking these as I go because obviously I'm bouncing around my page. P0087, fuel rail pressure too low. And a number of things can cause this. Again, I went over all this in my previous videos, so this code would be in that with that diagnostic procedure. So again, low supply pressure, bad CP4, leaking injectors, not causing pressure to build. Yeah, so that's that code. Next, 2291. Everybody loves that one. Fuel rail pressure low while cranking. So, for you guys that have the 17 plus trucks, if you exceed your cranking limit because you can't get your daggum fuel system to build pressure, this code will pop up. It will pop up shortly before that too. 11 to 16 trucks, I honestly don't know when this code will pop up, but it will eventually pop up. So it is what it says. Fuel rail pressure low while cranking. I mean, you're cranking your engine over, it's not building fuel pressure. Fuel rail pressure. That's all there is to it. Again, the same things can cause this along with the 87 code. 87 derives more from if your actual pressure is lower than your desired pressure and your engine is running. So 87 is more like you're slowly leaking down injectors, or you have a control valve in the on your fuel rail that's slowly dying. Now 2291, you've replaced stuff. Again, you've put your DPK kit on, and this code pops up because you've obviously put a giant air bubble in the supply system, and it's going to take a little bit to get that out of there. You're supposed to turn the key on, let it sit for 30 seconds till the pump cuts off. Do that 6 times, and you shouldn't have any issue. It'll have an extended crank, but you won't have a significant amount of cranking time to where the ECM's like, hey, something really is up. Let's not do this anymore. Bam, there you go. CP4 died. You got aeration supply issue, and that's really it on 2291. So it is what it says: low fuel rail pressure while cranking. Let's see. P228F. Let's see. That's fuel. I'm gonna abbreviate this. Fuel pressure regulator A exceed limits too high. I'm not gonna type all that. P228F. Fuel pressure regulator A exceed limits too high. So your pressure control solenoid on the back of the rail, that's exclusively to this code. Either the solenoid block inside of it is again shorting or dying, and it can't it's causing too high of a resistance, or it's the valve itself just going bad. Replace that solenoid and erase your DTC and move on from there. Some of these codes, you're going to have a lot of others piggybacking off of the issues because just how they are. And then P0191, fuel rail pressure, range performance. Fuel rail pressure, range performance. Fuel rail pressure, range performance. So PO191 can come from add-on tuners, is susceptible to this code, or a faulty sensor on the front of the driver rail. The actual doesn't match desired, so you have this is for your sensor, your fuel rail pressure sensor that is on the front of your driver rail. And like I said, tuners can cause that because tuners they manipulate the readings from sensors to make them to make performance. There's this certain tuners overwrite or override actual sensor data and make the ECM read what the tuner says, not what the actual sensor says. There we go. And at times the ECM can detect, hey, that's not right. If the others are saying this, why are you saying this? Bam, there's a code. That's where that is. Picking back on the PW87, check your fuse. Also with this code, check fuse 33 in your junction box, battery junction box, and make sure that fuse is not blown as well, because I've read tell that fuse 33 will cause this code too. If that fuse is good, just go ahead and swap out that rear control valve on the fuel rail, or you can just change your whole fuel rail and be done with that. That's pretty much it. That's all the codes that I've seen and dealt with so far with the fuel system, as far as the issues go with CPs crapping out or injectors going bad, or even just hardware parts going bad. That's all there is to it. Damaged harnesses, from engine swaps or even just major repair. I mean, that's all there is to it. So if y'all have any questions or comments, drop them below. I'll try to answer them the best I can. And again, if you have any direct questions, you can email me, cruisepowerstroke at gmail.com. Oh my gosh, I can't type today. So that's my email there. If y'all want to talk to me directly, I'm trying to make it small enough so you can, oh my gosh, cruisepowerstroke at gmail.com. Or you can shoot me a text message or a phone call. If I don't answer, like I said, leave a text message or leave a voicemail, and I'll call you back whenever I can. So that's it for this video. You guys, hope I helped you out a little bit. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or drop a comment. And if there's any other stuff that I can easily explain by video, that or have y'all done that are different, that corrected some of these things that I didn't mention, let me know as well. Like I said, we're all learning. I'm still learning. You never stop learning.